Hey, Texan Rockers, we're going to do one of those episodes where we just try to make the thing on the spot, or as an archaeologist would say, in situ, in context. Okay?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's what
we're gonna.
they say?
You want your coffee over here, bro?
Oh, thank you, sir.
We're just gonna see if we can. We're just gonna see if we can knock one off and see what comes. This one's kind of heavy, but it might help a lot of you if you're crazy like I am. Okay.
Crazy like a ant.
That's true. Always moving and picking things up.
Picking things up.
Okay, so let's do. This is great. Let me just tell you the quote by
tell me.
The quote by Zeno first that profoundly helped me.
Zeno, yeah.
Yeah, Zeno is actually the founder of Stoicism.
Yeah.
Like the Stoic philosophy of the ancient world. And he wrote, "Well-being is realized by small steps, but truly is no small thing." If that isn't something that you can repeat to yourself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's actually hear it again, and then let's get it down to the mantra that I use, because it's shorter. Okay. Well-being is realized by small steps, but truly is no small thing.
Yeah.
Here's my mantra.
Okay.
The small steps I take to be okay are a big deal. The small steps I take to be okay are a big deal.
Yeah.
That means I'm not going to beat myself up when I'm not producing, or when I'm resting, or when I'm just doing something for enjoyment, or when I had to just get out and go for a hike instead of, pushing the gas on another project. The things that I do to take care of myself are actually a big deal, and I need to be on it.
You need to be
so
on it.
That's
right.
kind of what I remember,
Right.
and that's where this poem is coming out of, okay?
Yeah.
So I'll read it to you. We'll see if we can put it to music, and then we'll talk about what it is.
Okay.
Sound good?
Okay.
Or do you want to flip that? Do you care?
No.
Okay.
Wait, what?
Do you want to talk about the poem first and then try to put it to rhythm? And that way you will have heard it a couple times?
Oh, okay.
Or do you not
Or is
care?
that cheating?
No.
Because we told him that we were just going to do it, didn't we?
Okay.
Did we tell him that?
All right, let's just do it then. Okay, ready?
I don't mind lying to them.
No, I do. I do.
I do.
Art with heart, that means truth. Okay.
Heart with heart, that means truth.
So you can't actually be for someone and deceive them. I don't think. Not about things that matter. Like, you can tell your friend that shirt doesn't make them look bad or something like that. Right? But the real stuff, you can't really be for someone if you're not being truthful with them.
Yeah. All right. Well, to be honest, that shirt doesn't really.
Thanks.
No, I'm saying.
This is a Cincinnati soccer shirt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one's called.
Sorry.
This one's called "Small Steps Are No Small Thing." I'll just read it, and then we'll go gangbusters.
Okay.
This is totally. Eric and I have never looked at this one together, and I don't even have ideas in my head yet about what we're gonna do. So
Oh, really?
It should
You
be
don't?
fun. No,
You
let's
got
just hit it.
nothing?
Nope. I don't even know what pace to read it at. Let's just see what we get.
Okay.
Okay. I look upward, out from under the depression, anxiety, and thunder in my chest from wanting to be the best or pass this in every test, and I wonder, was the past 10 years some kind of blunder? I look inside and I know my outward. Circumstance hides growth, perseverance, and depth that only came from messy in the middle and death, and giving up self-destruction, anger, and vino, and believing every day these words of Zeno. Well-being is realized by small steps, but truly is no small thing. From the rooftops of your soul, let this ring, and celebrate that you are here and you have kept enough hope to be on the journey. And I'm traveling with you and proud of who you can be. That's the poem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
We could take it at a lot of different paces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool, man.
That's awesome.
Let
I
me
really
try to
like
give
that.
it a little more syncopation. And,
Okay.
And just join in with whatever you think.
Okay.
How's that?
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay.
Yay.
You want any coffee first?
I am gonna, yes. Here's to you, kid.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Okay.
Oh, you know that line that you have about something ringing?
Yeah.
Do you know why there's no knock-knock jokes about...
I love your jokes. Okay, keep going.
About
What you got?
about the 4th of July?
No. Why are there no knock-knock jokes about the 4th of July?
Because freedom rings.
That's awesome. Do you know every house I've lived in has had a broken doorbell and I've never done anything about it?
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I've only owned 2 houses, but the doorbell
still.
didn't work in either one, and I just let it ride for like years. Okay, ready?
That's something
All
to be
right.
said about you or something.
Oh, there's so much here. I can't wait to explain it, but let's just see what we get.
Okay,
All right.
okay.
I look upward, out from under the depression, anxiety, and thunder in my chest from wanting to be the best or pass this in every test, and I wonder, was the past year just some kind of blunder? I look inside and I know my outward circumstance hides growth, perseverance, and depth that only came from messy in the middle and death. And giving up self-destruction, anger, and vino, and believing every day these words of Zeno. Well-being is realized by small steps, but truly is no small thing. From the rooftops of your soul, let this ring and celebrate that you are here and you have kept enough hope to be on the journey. And I am traveling with you and proud of who you can be. You're so good. You're like so good, man.
What?
Because you weren't just playing like a backtrack, you were animating it.
Yeah?
Do you know what I mean?
All right.
And you came in like right away. We just like read off each other.
Yeah.
That was sweet.
That's cool.
Do you want to try it one more time?
Sure.
Just for like the actual like music video thing we'll make?
Yeah.
Okay. I should have brought my electric guitar for this one. Yeah. This would have been a great like jam around out.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Okay.
I think this will be it. So
Yeah. Okay.
So here's small steps are no small thing. We hope you love it and it profoundly helps, especially if you struggle with your mental health like I do. To be honest, the better artist you are, the more up and down you probably are. And that's okay.
Probably, yeah.
It's all right. It's all right.
It is. It is.
Okay,
All right.
ready?
Yep.
I can't wait to explain it, but let's just see what we get.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I look upward, out from under the depression, anxiety, and thunder in my chest from wanting to be the best or pass this in every test, and I wonder, was the past year just some kind of blunder? I look inside and I know my outward circumstance hides growth, perseverance, and depth that only came from messy in the middle and death. And giving up self-destruction, anger, and vino, and believing every day these words of Zeno. Well-being is realized by small steps, but truly is no small thing. From the rooftops of your soul, let this ring and celebrate that you are here and you have kept enough hope to be on the journey. And I am traveling with you and proud of who you can be. I like that cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
All right. All right.
I love how you animate shit. Like it's
Yeah.
not just you're not just like playing a beat. You're like bringing the words to life. That's solid. Cool.
All right. All right.
All right. Want to talk about it a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's going on? What's happening?
Yeah. So, first of all, I think a lot of creative people are this way. That's why I said the more of an artist you are, the more you're probably up and down.
Yeah.
Like as a maker, I'm either in creative high, making stuff I love mode, or I can slip into low, depressed, like what's the point mode.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but like the story of my life has been, can I sit in the middle in a healthy place?
Right. Yeah.
And I was that way even as a little kid.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my whole life I've been kind of really up or really down. And over the years it's been like a healthier down, right?
Yeah.
It used to be anger. I didn't know where it came from and what to do with it.
Right.
And then it used to be like depression, what's the point? And now it's like, oh, I'm in a low. Okay, well, why don't I do something I love and give it the time it takes? Right? So it says, and it starts with these like parallel lines. I look upward, which is where I find inspiration, out from under my depression, anxiety, and thunder in my chest from wanting to be the best and pass this or every test. That's what tapes play in the back of my head. That your life is supposed to count. You're supposed to produce meaningful work that makes the house of the world better. And as soon as you're not doing it, I'm misaligned, and depression and anxiety can like creep in. And there's a drive in me to like produce, create, and make. And the irony is we only produce, create, and make well when we're rested and playing. I can't tell you how many of these poems start when I'm on like a hike or a walk, enjoying nature, tapping ideas into my phone, or when I'm at a coffee shop just reading a book, maybe in a dead tongue language, and I've got my notebook beside me, and I just like jot down something real quick, and it will grow into what we needed to make. But it's because I wasn't doing anything productive, right?
Right.
And so learning to look upward out from under that, whether you call it God, source, wonder, source of being, however you want to name it, I need to rest in the fact that like I'm not in control. I'm a very small ant on a big blue ball floating in space, and you know what? Sometimes it's okay to pull back and chill, right? And the haunting question I always have is at the end of this paragraph, was the last 10 years some kind of blunder? And you guys know my story. I spent over a decade to become like Indiana Jones and be a professor, and I just like don't get to do it right now. And so I ask, like, did I waste all that time? Right? It's the fundamental question is like, shouldn't I be farther now? Shouldn't I have like made a name for myself doing what I love? And that's the tape that plays in my head. The more important thing is what's your tape. Like what voice comes to you and tells you lies about where your fundamental value comes from and where it doesn't. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Those are the things, like you saying, the tape running in your head. If it's negative all the time, that's what you've got, right? So we need to start to sprinkle in whatever those positive notes are. And redo the tape.
Do you know what's interesting? I was just talking with my baby sister Shannon the other day when all the cousins were visiting and stuff, and she's a therapist. She works with a lot of people with depression and anxiety, and she said that what I'm feeling when I feel like there's a gap between the name I was supposed to make for myself as a scholar or as an artist and the reality that I just like hustle, but I'm not a big deal. Kind of like you. Like you do such quality work, and when people find it, it profoundly helps them. But you know, like we're not a big deal. We're not like any famous in any sort of the way. And she says what you're feeling in that gap is shame. And she says guilt needs repentance, or for you to turn around. Like if you're convicted you did something wrong, or you've been in a habit or pattern of life that's destroying you, you need to think hard and turn around and take another path. But she said shame needs the truth. Shame needs either you to find it inside yourself you to find it in your sacred text or tradition, or you to find it from a really good friend or family member who will sit down with you and say, that's not where your value comes from.
Right.
Your value doesn't come from performance. You can't even control performance.
You can't even, right.
Yeah, so shame needs truth. Guilt needs repentance. Shame needs truth. Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, that is.
Yeah. Okay, ready for verse 2?
Ready.
So we looked upward and out from under, and then it flips. I look inside, and I know my outward circumstance hides growth, perseverance, and depth that only came from messy in the middle and death and giving up self-destruction, anger, and vino, and believing every day these words of Zeno, which we'll get to. So when I'm dealing with depression and anxiety, I actually need to go inward, and I need to not dance around how I'm feeling. I actually need to go all the way into the darkness, all the way into how am I feeling? Is that true or is it not true? And is this just that low that you go through as an artist? And if it is, what truth needs to go with that shame? Right?
Yeah.
And so here's what I find in myself again and again. I look inside and I know my outward circumstance hides all these things that are important. So you could look at my life in the last 10 years and say, like, what have you actually achieved on paper? Or you could look at some of the things I've been through in the last 2 years and be like, man, what a train wreck. But I know those are the very things that have shaped me. And the only reason we're producing the caliber of poetry we're producing is because I've been through like a shit show, right? And so my outward circumstances, how it appears, hides growth, perseverance, and depth that's inside of me. Like that's what's really inside of me, is a growth mindset, a grit, a perseverance. Like I will not quit unless you can see my guts. Like,
right.
And a depth, like an iceberg character that I think both of our personalities have. You notice how many times like people are talking to us and they'll be like, I just feel good being around you guys. Or like, you just made the whole place better when you walked in. And it's because they see that we're being kind and cordial, but what's underneath it is this iceberg of having gone through pain and come out the other side. Right?
Yeah.
Amen?
Absolutely. Amen.
Yeah, and that's the next line. So all this growth, perseverance, and depth only came from messy in the middle and death. Not knowing how things were going to go. Downright grieving some of the things I expected to come true not happening.
Grieving.
Like that's what death does, is it causes a grief in your soul. Sometimes people will say they're down or depressed or sad, and if you really get to the heart of it, no, you're grieving. You had expectations for what could be, and they didn't come true, and now you're mourning like something died. Whether that's a relationship, whether that's that this year was going to be better than the last year, or whether that's that the house of the world's going to keep going and our story's going to be beautiful again. When something in you senses that died, that's grief. It's just like when someone you cares about dies. You had thoughts about what would be, and they died. So it says, all this growth only came from that stuff. And giving up self-destruction, anger, and vino. I sat down with a notepad and I asked, what are these sideways habits that you have in your life that make things worse, not better? Right? And for me, it was self-destruction, like self-sabotage, in a variety of ways. It was anger, like I'm deeply angry over things that were done to me relationally that are not okay. And vino, I actually only really drink with you socially. You won't catch me like drinking a beer every day, which I used to like do about 2 a day. And my whole face was fatter and my whole life was more chaotic. And every morning I felt tired and I just chucked it. Like for the most part, I really only will have alcohol or wine or beer when we're hanging out and talking about art. It's almost like a reward for being good the rest of the time. Right?
Yes.
And believing every day these words of Zeno, and these are the words we gave you at the top. Well-being is realized by small steps, but truly is no small thing. It's a big deal when you make a list of how you haven't been measuring up to your full potential and you know it, and you're not afraid to run after it and look it in the eye. Yeah. That's a big deal. And every single day, or maybe for some of you, hour or minute, you make it without self-sabotage at the start, that's not a small thing.
Right.
It's a big thing.
Yeah, grab onto those little victories. Hold on to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can we go back and look at when you talk about
guilt needs a turnaround, shame needs the truth, right?
Yeah.
All right, so what about it?
Okay, so when we talk about truth, you know, there's depending upon how you look at things. Like I had a counselor once draw like the number 6 and put it between us and said, "What do you see?" And I said 6. And I said, "Well, I see a 9. But just because I'm right doesn't mean you're wrong," kind of a thing.
It's
right?
the perspective.
It's the perspective, right?
Oh,
so
wow.
Perspective, right? With
so
truth.
You need a friend that sees your story from a different perspective.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, think about our friendship, okay? When I met you, you didn't have a walking cane, and you could get around pretty great, and you wouldn't call once in a while and say the pain is too much, right? And some of the ways I've seen you become profoundly compassionate and tamp down cynicism and really love people well has to do with walking with a limp.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like it's almost like someone took some of your strength away, but you became strong in a different way.
In a different way, right? Yeah.
But sometimes you need me to tell you that story. And sometimes I just judge myself by like the implosions that I've been through. Right. And I need you to say, actually, you didn't do anything wrong. You did the best you could with it at every like stage. And I see a 9, not a 6.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So this one wraps up with piggybacking off of Zeno's quote that the small steps you take are actually a big deal. And it says, "From the rooftops of your soul, let this ring." Like this is honestly like a praise or a worship or a gratitude you can feel inside of yourself, that you're taking small steps because your life matters and your purpose matters and your telos matters.
Yeah.
And celebrate that you are here. You're still here. Look, whatever you've been through, no matter how bad it was, you're still here, aren't you?
I think they are. I mean, if they're watching this right now.
Yeah. and so you've kept enough, it says, and so you've kept enough hope to be on the journey. I'm traveling with you. And I mean everyone else out there that has tapes in their heads, I'm traveling with you.
Yeah.
Plato says that we should be profoundly kind because everyone we encounter is fighting a hard battle.
Hard battle.
Even the people that seem the most put together or that even have a life that you might think you would envy, they have their own tapes.
Right.
They all do.
Yeah.
Right? And so I'm traveling with you. Eric and I are traveling with you.
With you.
When you feel these things, and we're proud of who you can be. Especially when you're taking steps to create like your creator creates and growing out of that process. Yeah, man. You got anything else? Like,
I don't think so. I think that's, so even if you're just creating, barely getting out of bed, at least do that.
Yeah, man.
And then feel good about it. Hey, I did that. I got that far.
Then the next day you might even make it to bed.
Yeah.
Hey, so this has been such a fun week talking with you guys in the Facebook group. If you're not in there, the link's in the show notes. We would love to meet you in person. And we hope you love Small Steps Are No Small Thing.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Peace and love. Be good to each other.